to see if you qualify to be a research subject. Anyone that meets the inclusion-exclusion criteria, has the indication that we're looking for, can be part of a clinical trial. Now, well, the answer to who should be participating in a clinical trial is really anyone that has the indication that we're looking for and qualifies. So what does that mean? So let's just say we're looking at postoperative pain trials. In this case, we're looking for someone who has a bunion deformity on one of their feet and wants to have surgery. Well, of course, you wouldn't qualify if you have no bunions. And so first of all, you have to have the indication, in this case, a bunion. Second, there's a whole bunch of different inclusion and exclusion criteria that one has to go through to see if you qualify to be a research subject. Let's just say you have a bunion deformity, but because of where we are in the valley, we're a little overweight and we're a little short. Well, the BMI may be too high. And the BMI is, as you all know, is the range of your height to your weight. And so if that's too high, you may not meet one of the inclusion criteria. And so really anyone that meets the inclusion-exclusion criteria, has the indication that we're looking for, can be part of a clinical trial. Now, let's just say you meet the inclusion-exclusion criteria, everything's fine. Why else would you want to participate? Well, one of the reasons is you want to be able to help future patients, future subjects that might have that problem. In this case, again, using the bunion as an example, most of the medicines that we're using now for these studies are non-opioid, non-addictive pain medicines. We all know there's a big problem with the opioid crisis in the United States and in the world. Taking part in one of our clinical trials that has to do with postoperative pain trials, i.e. bunion surgery, and then getting the non-opioid medicine, when and if the medicine's approved, will help everyone else avoid having to take a drug that might be addictive, that might cause them to become addicted to a medicine that could ruin the rest of their lives. And so if not for the help of yourself, it may be you want to help future patients that have this indication. And through you taking part in this clinical study may help them find a cure for their disease or their problem. And then another thing, which is a small part, but something you should be aware of, is that there's compensation. In some studies, the compensation could be hundreds of dollars. In other studies, it may be $50 to $75 a visit. And so each study has their own compensation. So those are the reasons why someone wants to take part in a study. Now, another reason may be, you know what, I don't have insurance. And unfortunately, where we live here in the Rio Grande Valley, many people don't have insurance. Every one of the trials that Futuro Clinical Trials has and perform are done without any cost to you or your insurance company, if you have one. So many times people have a large deductible. Let's say you want to have your bunion surgery done, but your deductible is $10,000. Well, you're expected to pay everything up to $10,000 out of your pocket. And for many of us, we can't do that. So the study allows you to have that bunion surgery done for no cost to you or your insurance company. So all those reasons together give you a good idea of why you may want to consider being part of a clinical trial. And many times, the procedure that we're going to be doing is the same as if you were paying out of your pocket. So it may make sense for you to be part of this study. Give us a call. We can explain further.